If I woke up tomorrow and I'd lost everything, I'd lost my properties, the connections I have with the landlords, my students, my coaching business, all of my money. So no business, just me, my knowledge, and the same amount of money I had when I started all of this. Here's exactly what I would do. So when I started, I figured it out as I went. Some of it worked. Some of it took longer than I anticipated. Some of it took more time than I was willing to lose. If I had to rebuild from scratch today, I'd do it quicker, I'd do it smarter, I'd do it more efficient, and in a completely different sequence. So let me show you exactly how. The right landlord won't care how long you've been trading. They care whether you can solve their problem. Agents do not care how your website looks. Trust me, if you could see my website, I chucked it together in one evening. I'd never built a website. It was stressful as can be. I hated every minute of it, and it looked like something David Hasselhoff created when he was in between episodes of The Knight Rider. But I didn't care. The information on the website was relevant enough. That was a box ticked, never to be revisited. Estate agents care more about, are you clear on what you're even trying to say on the phone? Do you come across as legitimate, not just someone that has watched a few YouTube videos and giving it a go? They know, guys. They can sense it. So guys, that's the first thing. The business gets built by doing the business, not by preparing to do the business. So when I say if I lost everything and I had to start all over again tomorrow, I mean tomorrow, not next week when the website's finished, not next month when the market feels more ready. Tomorrow. And the first decision that I would make before I register my business is this: I decide what business I'm actually building. And I guarantee most of you, if not all of you, was thinking, I'm going to start a rent-to-rent business. So let me tell you guys something you already know. Rent-to-rent is not the only property management business. You know that. So a property management business can also be lettings, a lettings agency. So those two things are not separate. They're the same business, run from the same limited company, serving the same customers, same landlords, generating income in two different ways. So rent-to-rent properties that you would guarantee the rent to the landlord, that's your income from that side. So property management, lettings agency, gives you the management fee from the landlord's property, and it's the landlord that is willing for you to do that because they don't want to do it themselves, but they're not in a position to give you full control. Here's the property, now pay me the income. So if I was starting all over again, that's what I would do. Combine them both and start on day one. Day one, here's what I would do. So it takes about half an hour, 45 minutes max, to register a business on Companies House. And today is 24th of June, 2026. It's £100. When I started it, it was £12. Now it's £100. I wouldn't spend too long thinking of a company name. I would just mind dump on ChatGPT and just look at the options and choose one. So I won't follow it up with something like Properties Group or Properties Limited, something legitimate that when an estate agent or landlord hangs up, they're going to Google you 30 seconds after that phone call, and it just comes across as, legitimate. Get the SIC code correct, okay? The SIC code. A lot of people do get it wrong. You do have an opportunity to get that fixed at the next confirmation statement. Your accountant can do that, or you can do it yourself. So don't be too put off if you get it wrong at the very start. But it needs to be the SIC code relative to property management company. Step 2, straight onto compliance on day 1 as well. So that's PRS registration. That's the property redress scheme. I would go with the entry level. You don't need maximum protection at this point. You're a brand new limited company with no customers. That's non-negotiable. At the time of today, it's £190 plus VAT. So any legitimate property management company must have that. They will have that. It takes a day or two to come through the post, but start the application immediately. Then ICO registration. This is £40 a year. You're protected by doing that. So ICO is 40 quid a year, just do that. Business bank account. I'm with Monzo. I've got Revolut as well. I'm also in Tide. They're all great. I love Monzo, but for some reason they're getting a bit more strict on who can get an account. So try Tide. So those 4 things, a company, PRS, ICO, business bank account, is what separates you from someone who's just dipping the toe in the water to see if this works. There's so many people doing that. To someone who's fully committed, holding themselves accountable by setting up a legitimate, compliant company. So estate agents will 100% take you seriously going on from that. Step 3 is build the credibility document. So this isn't part of the website. This is a PDF document, like a 4-page PDF document. So this is your company name, what you do, who you are, benefits to the landlord, benefits to the agent, your compliance registrations on the front page. This is what sits in the estate agent's inbox to just check after you've called. You could just say, I'll just send over an About Us document so you can have a read. Boom, they see that. Makes you look proper professional. That takes maximum a day to build. 100% needed. I'd do that on day 1 as well. Step 4 is build the website. Again, even when I started, I smashed this up in one evening, but it still took me a few hours and I was pulling my hair out. But now I would just literally create a landing page in a matter of no time, because with the power of AI and templates that you can use, it does not take long. Your only job is to pass the Google test. An estate agent will Google you after the call. What they find needs to stay legitimate business. So here's something a lot of people are getting wrong when when building the website. This is not for guests. It's not for tenants. Your customer is the landlord, the property, the estate agent, the relationships. That is what is going to ultimately help you scale this business. And it is for agents and landlords to check you out. So it needs to talk to them. It needs to show the benefits to the landlord, the benefits to the estate agent. Most estate agents think rent-to-rent companies are competition. We're not. We absolutely work with them. So that's day one, done. So that's limited company, the compliance, the website, the credibility document, all done, day one. Finished. It's crazy how long people spend on that. Honestly, some of my students spend weeks doing that. I'm like, what are you doing? Even when I started, that took me 2 days as a complete newbie. Now I'd have that all done in one afternoon. So here's what I would do now compared to what I did at the start, and honestly, they're so different. So when I started in HMO. I was just tunnel visioning on HMO. That's all I was looking at. Now, I would let the market tell me what I should be looking for. So here's what that looks like in practice. So you open Rightmove, you search your area, you filter by keywords such as company let and available now. You press enter, and then you just look at what comes up. What type of properties and landlords are struggling to let? What's the bedroom count? What's the location? So you can just choose a location and put in 40 miles and put in those two keywords and then let the market tell you. Then if it's Airbnb, you go to Airbnb and you look at what's already working in that area. What's fully booked? Who's getting strong reviews? What nightly rates are they charging? What type of property is it? Is it mainly aimed at the holiday let or contractors? A mix? Then I would look at the local authority housing register. Is there a social housing waiting list in your area? Is there a council actively placing people? Is there a demand for supported accommodation? If so, you might have identified a huge gap in the market. Those 3 data points, so you've got Rightmove supply, Airbnb demand, the social housing need. That will tell you the specific strategy for your location. So I live in Dorset. Dorset tells me it's good for serviced accommodation. City centres tell me good for HMO. Post-industrial town with a housing crisis, that tells me social housing. That's the kind of mindset you need to adapt, is don't try and force a strategy that doesn't work in a certain location. And I'm not going to spend 12 weeks learning a strategy that doesn't quite suit my location. All right, you could say, but Kenny, you've made videos where you say beggars can't be choosers. Be willing to drive 3 hours to a location where that strategy does work. Absolutely. I'm not saying don't do that. If you're willing to go to the extremes, then choose any strategy and go to any location, because that is the strategy I chose at the start. I'm just telling you guys in this video what I would do with my knowledge now. So here's the interesting part. Whilst I'm doing all of that, I'd be running ads. So I wouldn't even wait until I have proof. I certainly wouldn't be waiting until I feel more ready based on trying to find more data. I'd go out and get the data. I'd have a meta ad running targeting landlords in my local area, and it would be as simple as this. Are you a landlord in Dorset? Are you struggling to let your property? Or are you quite frankly fed up of the tenant rights being changed and the regulations being changed? Section 21 being scrapped has made you a bit hesitant to go down the traditional route. Well, fill in the survey below and I might rent your property on a guaranteed rent basis or something along those lines. You know, we offer guaranteed rent, 0 voids, etc., etc. I'd run a professional ad, and I'd let that ad run for £5 a day and then revisit in about a week to look at the metrics, and then be calling the landlords as they opt into a page or download a certain, they fill out the survey, they leave their details, you can contact them, get landlords coming to you. A lot of people don't know how to do that, but again, I'm just telling you what I would do based on my knowledge. I've learned a lot in terms of sales, marketing, property management, relationship building with landlords, estate agents, facilitating deals, helping other people. It's been a lot. I've learned so much. So by week 2, the business exists. So the business is live, the bank account details are live, the credibility document is ready to be sent. I've run an ad for a week. I've got data, I've got landlords I need to call. The market data research has told me what strategy to lead with. Now I pick up the phone. Okay, so I've got my list of landlords I need to call. This is how I would approach it. I wouldn't just go down the rent-to-rent route. I would just hear them out, see what problems they have, and look in my toolbox to see if I can solve it. So some landlords will be interested in a full management arrangement. Some landlords will have properties that are absolutely perfect for rent to rent. Some will have properties that they're not interested at all. You just have to have that conversation and something will come from it. Otherwise, why did they watch your video and click on it in the first place? So I think it's really important to go in with that, you're not pitching a service. You're trying to solve their problem because you've got the solution. The right solution for each landlord depends on the problem that they've got in the first place. So I'd be calling the landlords that are coming through on my Meta ad, and I'd be making 10 phone calls to estate agents minimum on a daily basis. And I'd track every single phone call, the agent name, what was the response like, what was the outcome of the phone call, and I'd follow my phone call flowchart every single time. And it's not like I need my flowchart today. I've got years of experience. It's because if I was starting from zero with zero experience, my confidence would not be where it is now. The flowchart removes the fear of not knowing what to say. It turns that call from a scary call into like a reading exercise. I'd also have alerts on Rightmove under the 2 keywords of company let and available now. So whenever a new property is listed with those certain words, bang, I'm instantly notified and I'd be on it. The first person to call is often the first person to get the deal. And I'd make 10 calls every day for 30 straight days. And on average, it takes 12 phone calls to get your first viewing booked in. I've proved this so many times. I'd have my first viewing on day 1. And come the end of the month, I would have been on so many viewings. I'd have made so many offers. My details would be in so many estate agents' CRMs. I'll be having the alerts on Rightmove, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace would be going. There would be so many opportunities to address. And I'll almost certainly have multiple deals in progress. And I'm not saying this to be cocky or come across exceptional. I'm so sold and confident in the process, it works. So if I lost everything, I would just smash out the process because I know it works. This game is 90% mindset, 10% action. If you can wrap your head around you're not someone to be taken seriously at the start and you just follow the process relentlessly, it doesn't take long to start really packing in that momentum. So there's one more thing that I would do differently that I didn't do the first time around. I'd tax plan from day 1. And I'm not going to go into detail on my own tax situation. That's between me and my accountant. But I will say this, when you start making good money in this business, and you will, if you follow the process, eventually the tax man comes knocking. And if you haven't planned for it, it comes as a shock. So get your accountant from day 1. Most of them don't charge until the first year accounts are due anyway, so you've got plenty of time to make money before you need to pay an accountant. Don't wait for things to get complicated. Do it before. And then learn about VAT, corporation tax, dividend tax, and how you should tax plan for that. Because I'm the class of 2020 and there's not many students from the class of 2020 left. I would say a handful. It's crazy how many people that when I started in the social media space, how active everybody was, and now it's so select few. Yeah, they all seem to be making absolute killer money. So if you want to be in this game for a long period of time, and when you start making good money, don't spend the good money. Just make sure you understand taxes that are due eventually. So that's the main point I want to hammer home. It's build the business, make the money, keep the money, and tax plan from day 1. So that's it in a nutshell. I would start a lettings agency. I'd run ads. And I'd also do the rent to rent. Because I'm in North Dorset. When I drive around, there's for let everywhere. There's not many estate agents. Whenever they are saying for let, it's just mainly 1 or 2 agents. And I know how to run ads because obviously I have a coaching business. I'm on social media. I run ads. I've got that experience, and experience compounds. I wouldn't be starting again from zero. I'd be starting again with nothing, but everything still here. And that's really important. So that's why I'd go straight into lettings agency, because I think I would clean up my competition, because the speed of AI, I don't think the majority of people are keeping up. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they're all amazing AIs. You can create incredible pieces of content and you can hammer it straight to your direct avatar. So that's what I would do. I'd make an ad straight to the pain points of the landlords, the ones that are struggling to let or don't want to let to a family because of previous experience. And I'd just be proper casual about it. I'd even invite them to my office to have a sit down chat. I'd target North Dorset, and straight away the lettings agency would be running. But I'd also be focusing on rent to rent and just trying to build what I've currently got, a scalable rent to rent business. So guys, if that doesn't tell you that the process is repeatable and that the market need is there and it's real, and that you can do this with zero experience, zero money in the bank. I say zero money in the bank. You obviously need a little bit of money to set up, and especially if you're going to take this properly and invest in yourself, get trained. Right, there's a lot to know. But guys, I've laid all of this out in order into a launch checklist. So if you want that, which it just lays out everything that you should do in terms of days, day 1, day 2, day 3, until you're all set up, then just go to the description. You can download it there.